Very good morning to you, Angela Rayner. Thanks so much for talking to us. To begin with, you had a huge victory. Labour had a huge victory in the by-election yesterday in Scotland. Do you think you'll look back on that moment as the time when you became really confident of victory in the general election?
Well, it was a seismic result that we had, and we have been working very hard over the last couple of years since Keir Starmer took over as leader and I became deputy leader to really listen to what the voters are saying. And we've seen under the Conservatives a complete decline. And what we want to do is give Britain its future back. And I think that result shows that we're on track to continue with the plan of listening to the public, seeing what their priorities are and delivering for them. And that's what the next Labour government will do if we're fortunate enough to be elected at the next general election.
Michael Shanks, your new MP for Rutherglen and Hamilton West, disagreed with the Labour leadership on some pretty big issues like scrapping the two-child benefit cap, ending the bedroom tax. Is that your future strategy, to let Labour MPs north of the border stray away from the party line in order to win votes?
Well, one of the challenges we face, because of the Conservatives crashed the economy and the situation we're going to inherit, is that we won't be able to reverse everything that the Conservatives have done over the last 13 years. But we're very determined to give Britain its future back, and that the New Deal for Working People is part of that programme, the Green Prosperity Plan, making sure we can bring down people's energy bills, the house building that I'm proposing at the start of conference that we'll be announcing more this week is about actually giving people secure futures and making sure that we can tackle things like child poverty. And of course, if you look at our history and you look at what the last Labour government did, we brought millions of pensioners and children out of poverty, and we're determined to do the same again. But we've had 13 years of Conservative failure, a crashed economy, so we're going to inherit a very difficult programme if we were lucky enough to win the next general election, and therefore we're realistic about what we're able to achieve, but we will change Britain for the better.
But I'm just interested in this idea of MPs being allowed to say they disagree with the leadership. And it comes today when Wes Streeting, the Shadow Health Secretary, is talking about appealing to Conservatives to come on board and vote Labour. Are we going to have a situation where you've got Labour candidates in Scotland trying to get SNP votes saying one thing, and you've got Labour candidates trying to get Tory votes in other parts of the country saying a completely different thing?
Well, Scotland isn't a branch of Westminster. Scotland and Scottish Labour obviously will put forward their programme with us and work with us, and we continue to do that. So, for example, my New Deal for Working People has been collaborated with our Welsh Labour government, who have introduced things like partnership working already, which is having success in Wales, and we're working with Scottish Labour to deliver that as well. But, you know, in the Labour Party, we'll always have debate about where we go. But we're very clear, both, myself, Keir, and with Rachel, that the programme that we will deliver in government will create that change. But of course we've got to keep pushing, and our MPs will keep pushing for more, because we know that the country has faced decline under the Conservatives, and there's a lot of work to do to bring about that renewal and give Britain its future back, and we will deliver that, and we're determined to deliver that in government.
You talk about debate about where you go. Anti-Brexit campaigners are pushing for, they're tabled a motion to push for greater commitments in the future relationship with Europe. Is it right that Keir Starmer's opposing that motion? How much division is there over Brexit in the party?
Well, you know, we've left the European Union. That's very clear. There was a referendum and we've drawn a line under that. What Keir Starmer set out is about how we can deliver for people under the current situation, where we could have a closer relationship, where we don't have this disaster, where people were promised that things would be better. There was promised more money for the NHS. There was promise that agriculture would be better, farmers, fishery, business and frictionless trade. And we've not seen any of that under the Conservatives. So, of course, Keir wants a pragmatic approach to how we work within the European Union, but we have left the European Union and we're not going to be going back.
Labour today promising a big expansion of affordable homes. You say you'll do that by getting tough with developers. How will that work?
Well, we'll work with local authorities and developers to make sure that we deliver that affordable housing. Look, we know this is a problem. Anyone listening to your programme will know somebody at the moment who is trapped either in rented accommodation or they're in, substandard accommodation or they're in temporary accommodation because we don't have the social housing we need in this country. And the Conservatives have completely failed to deliver that. We will deliver that because having a safe, secure home is one of the pillars of how you can get on in life, and far too many people at the moment, including young children, are in accommodation that's not fit for them, and we will deliver that social housing that we need, and that will help the whole housing market and will give people their future back, and that's what we're determined to deliver. I had social housing, it helped me when I needed it the most, and that's been snatched away from so many at the moment, and it's a real scandal that Michael Gove is giving back nearly £2 billion of the Affordable Homes Grant because he's not able to deliver on that, and that Rishi Sunak hasn't been able to, push down his backbenchers and make sure that we have the planning reforms to ensure that we can build those homes. We will deliver that, and we're determined to do that.
Well, yes, you say you want decent homes for everybody, but you're the one that decided that Labour Lords should vote against the government's nutrient neutrality plans, which they claim would have seen 100,000 new homes built.
I mean, that is absolute rubbish, first of all. It didn't affect 100,000 homes. And this was a binary choice that the Conservatives tried to put on the public, that you can't have homes and protect the environment. That is completely untrue. And senior Conservative lords were also rallying against the government on this, because actually you can. It was about making sure that we can protect our environment and deliver those homes we need to build. The Conservatives failed to get round the table to make that happen. We put an amendment down which could have delivered on the programme. The government weren't listening. We don't believe that you have to wreck our environment to deliver the homes. We can do both of those things.
Obviously, you have great ambitions for this particular conference, but what about your own longer-term ambitions, Angela Rayner? I'm curious to know, when the Tories have had 3 female prime ministers, would you like to be Labour's first?
I would have an absolute honour and a privilege if I was able to be the Deputy Prime Minister of this country. That's my ambition. And my ambition is to get into government, not for me, but for the people out there who deserve that change. The Conservatives have delivered chaos for people. I want people to have the opportunities that the last Labour government delivered for me, and I'm determined to make sure that we get into government to deliver that for people.
OK, well, Angela Rayner, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.